In Greek mythology, as recorded in Homer's Iliad, Patroclus was the son of Menœtius, grandson of Actor, king of Opus, and Achilles' beloved comrade and brother-in-arms. Patroclus's genealogy. Menœtius was a member of the Argonauts in his youth. He had several marriages, and in different versions of the tale 4 different women are named as the mother of Patroclus. The Bibliotheca names 3 wives of Menœtius as possible mothers of Patroclus: Periopus, daughter of Pheres, founder of Pheræ; Polymele, daughter of Peleus, king of Phthia and older half-sister of Achilles; and Sthenel, daughter of Acastus and Astydaemir. Gaius Julius Hyginus names Philomela as Patroclus a mother. Menœtius was a son of Actor, king of Opus in Leucris by Aegina. Aegina was a daughter of Asopus and mother of Aeacus by Zeus. Aeacus was father of Peleus, Telamon and Phocus. Actor was a son of Dionysus, king of Phasis and Diomede. His paternal grandparents were Aeolus of Thessaly and Enerete. His maternal grandparents were Xuthus and Creusa, daughter of Erechteus and Praxithea. Life before the Trojan War. In his youth, Patroclus accidentally killed his friend, Cleisthenes, during an argument over a game of dice. His father fled with Patroclus into exile to evade revenge, and they took shelter at the palace of their kinsman King Peleus of Phthia. There Patroclus apparently first met Peleus's son Achilles. Patroclus was somewhat older than Achilles. Non-primary source needed. Peleus sent the boys to live in the wilderness and be raised by Chiron, the cave-dwelling wise king of the Centaurs. In a post-Homeric version, he is listed among the unsuccessful suitors of Helen of Sparta, all of whom took a solemn oath to defend the chosen husband against whoever should quarrel with him. At about that time Patroclus killed Las, founder of a namesake city near Gythera, Laconia, according to Pausanias the geographer. Pausanias reported that the killing was alternatively attributed to Achilles. However, Achilles was not otherwise said ever to have visited Peloponnesos. Trojan War activities. When the tide of war turned away from the Achaeans, and the Trojans threatened their ships, Patroclus convinced Achilles to let him don Achilles' armor and lead the Myrmidons into combat. In his lust for combat, Patroclus pursued the Trojans all the way back to the gates of Troy, defying Achilles' order to break off combat once the ships were saved. Patroclus killed many Trojans and allies, including the Lycian hero Sarpedon and Sebrenus. Patroclus was stunned by Apollo, wounded by Euphorbos, and finished off by Hector. At the time of his death, Patroclus had killed 53 enemy soldiers, non-primary source needed, after retrieving his body, which had been protected on the field by Menelaus and Ajax. Non-primary source needed. The enraged Achilles returned to battle and avenged his companion's death by killing Hector. Achilles then desecrated Hector's body by dragging it behind his chariot instead of allowing the Trojans to honorably dispose of it by burning it. Achilles' grief was great, and for some time, he refused to dispose of Patroclus's body. But he was persuaded to do so by an apparition of Patroclus, who told Achilles he could not enter Hades without a proper cremation. Achilles sheared off his hair and sacrificed horses, dogs, and 12 Trojan captives before placing Patroclus's body on the funeral pyre. Achilles then organized an athletic competition to honor his dead companion, which included a chariot race, boxing, wrestling, a foot race, a duel, a discus throw, an archery contest, and a javelin throw. The games are described in the Iliad. Non-primary source needed. One of the earliest references to Greek sports. Relationship to Achilles. In the Iliad, the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles is a vital part of the story. The relationship contributes to the overall theme of the humanization of Achilles. While Homer's Iliad never once explicitly stated that Achilles and his close friend Patroclus were lovers, this concept was asserted by some later authors. In later Greek writings such as Plato's Symposium, The relationship between Patroclus and Achilles is held up as a model of romantic love, non-primary source needed. However, Xenophon, in his Symposium, had Socrates argue that it was inaccurate to label their relationship as romantic. Nevertheless, their relationship is said to have inspired Alexander the Great in his close relationship with his companion Hephaestion. After Patroclus killed Cleisthenes, Patroclus and his father fled to Peleus' palace. Patroclus then grew up with Achilles. Their relationship was so strong that it was as if they were more than brothers. Peleus made Patroclus Achilles' squire to allow Patroclus a right to fight with Achilles in the Trojan War. Burial and later reports. The funeral of Patroclus is described in the Iliad. Non-primary source needed. Patroclus is cremated on a funeral pyre, and his bones are collected into a golden urn in 2 layers of fat. The barrow is built on the location of the pyre. Achilles then sponsors funeral games, consisting of a chariot race, boxing, wrestling, running, a duel between 2 champions to the first blood, discus throwing, archery and spear throwing. The death of Achilles is given in sources other than the Iliad. His bones were mingled with those of Patroclus so that the two would be companions in death as in life, and the remains were transferred to Leuce, an island in the Black Sea. Their souls are reportedly seen wandering the island at times. In Homer's Odyssey, Odysseus meets Achilles in Hades, accompanied by Patroclus, Telamonian Ajax and Antilochus. A general of Croton identified either as Autoleon or Leonymus reportedly visited the island of Leuce while recovering from wounds received in battle against the Locra Epizopheri. The event was placed during or after the 7th century BC. He reported having seen Patroclus in the company of Achilles, Ajax the Lesser, Telamonian Ajax, Antilochus, and Helen.